Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be speaking about my labor story and what I went through giving birth at a public hospital in South Africa. It is going to be a story time, so get your cup of coffee or your cup of tea and I'll see you in the video. Guys, I cannot stress the importance of medical aid enough after what I went through. I would definitely say as it is an investment. If you are looking to have a family or you are pregnant, I would definitely say invest in medical aid because giving birth in a public hospital in South Africa is tough. It is an experience that was shocking to my system. I think especially because if you grow up in a sheltered environment, I don't want to say sheltered environment, but if you're not really exposed to these kind of things, it is quite a shock to the system. So I got pregnant when I was 22. I'd just graduated that previous year, and I was working, a minimum wage job, and we did not have that much money. So medical aid was not really an option for us at the time. However, we were going a few of our checkups, or my checkups, we were going to private doctors where we could afford. Some months we couldn't, so I'd have to go to the clinic. So I was actually due to give birth at the clinic, and let me tell you, if you see what those ladies go through, so you have your checkups, and then you've got people who's actually in labor at the same clinic at the same time. Sorry about the sound of the traffic. So you've got ladies who are there just for their normal checkups, and then you've got people who are actually going into labor, and it is not hidden, it is not private. These ladies are going through their labor right in front of you, screaming, and it was like, no, I'm not giving birth in this clinic. I want to at least go to the hospital. So there was 2 instances where I had to go to the hospital because my daughter's heart rate was kind of going down, and I didn't feel any movement. So I was booked into the hospital. I didn't stay overnight or anything, but they just monitored my daughter's heartbeat throughout the day just to see if it's picking up again and what is kind of the issue, but all was well. So that was kind of how I got into the system of being on the books as pregnant and having a few issues. So that was a positive. That was to start with, but I was not due to give birth there, guys. So you have to go to the clinic, and if you are in serious trouble, if you cannot give birth there and you need doctor's assistance, because at these clinics it's not really doctors, to my understanding, that's what they explained to me, it would be midwives. And so if you now are in a particular situation or you need to give birth via C-section, then they administer you to a hospital. So that was not the case for me, and I was still due to give birth at the clinic. So on the 31st of May, throughout the whole day, I was kind of having these terrible contractions and just like these pains, and I wasn't sure. I was like, am I going into labor? Is it just Braxton Hicks? Like, what is it? So they say that also you have like a discharge that comes, and that kind of happened as well. So we knew that, okay, I'm probably in labor. So we got everything ready, but we didn't go into the hospital till about 11 o'clock that night. So we just went to the hospital even though we knew, but because my daughter was early, we were just like, I'm not sure, am I going into labor? I'm having these terrible pains, and fortunately, thank the Lord is good. The hospital administered me, they booked me in, and I went into the prenatal ward. Is it prenatal? I don't know. I think it's like, I don't know what the name of the ward was, but it's like just a ward for them to monitor you and see what's going on. And they were like, no, you are in labor. And then they told my boyfriend he needs to leave, and we were like, what do you mean he needs to leave? And they were like, sorry, but he cannot be with you during this time. He must, oh sorry, the battery's flat, guys. He cannot be with you during this time and he needs to go home. You can call him, he can come back as soon as you go into labor. So I was like, what if the baby comes before he can get back here? They were like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go through this yourself. And I was like, okay. And bear in mind, he was still getting the place ready and it was hectic. So he went back home and I was alone at this hospital. And there was about 6 other pregnant women in the ward with me. And guys, when you are in labor, you're not caring about what is coming out of your mouth and the sounds that you are making. So these women were pretty much more actively in labor than I was, or further along. So it was quite scary. The way that they were going through their things, I was getting scared. And so I wasn't that bad. My pains were kind of just very constant, but they weren't that excruciating. You kind of just feel like you need to go a number 2, but nothing comes out. So that was just kind of like the feeling. And then, so all of a sudden, I think it was like, so I went in at 11. At 2 o'clock, I think I saw, I messaged my mother and I messaged my boyfriend and I was like, I can't go through this anymore. Like, this is hectic. Like, this is so painful. Like, the pain it's like in your lower back and it's hectic. And I messaged him and I was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. So I called one of the nurses and I was like, can I please see someone? I need pain medication. I need something. Guys, do you think I got pain medication? No. They gave me 2 Panados. 2 Panados, guys. On a good day when I have a headache and it's not that bad, 2 Panados still does nothing for me. I was like, 2 Panados, okay, let's see what it does, and it did nothing. I was like, okay, the epidural's gonna come, and no, guys. So it did not come. At about 6 o'clock that morning, one of the midwives arrived and she just kind of came to check on me and check the heartbeat of the baby, and she was like, okay, this is happening. And then she was just kind of, I was like, wait, what do you mean this is happening? She's like, it's gonna happen anytime now. And I was like, but wait, my boyfriend's like, yeah, like, what if he doesn't get here in time? But she was so helpful. She was kind of holding my hand and helping me breathe. And then I was like, so will I be able to get an epidural? The last time I got pain medication was at 2 o'clock, which was 2 Panados. And she was like, no, we don't do epidurals here. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was kind of when I had to officially realize that I wasn't getting it. So I was like, can I get more Panados? And she was like, no, because your baby's heart rate is going down, it's getting slower. We don't want to make her tired. We don't want her to feel, anything to not come out. And they were like, this is just how we're gonna go through it. So I'm in this ward, and by this time, a few of the ladies were taken out because obviously they were in labor at that time. They were about to push. So a few of them through the night kind of left. So I think it was like me and another 2 ladies. And then at about 7 o'clock, they told me I need to call my boyfriend. He needs to come. So he got there, and then they moved me into a private ward. And I was grateful for that. It was a beautiful pink private ward, and there was 3 nurses. Well, it was, I think, 2 midwives and a nurse. And they were like, okay, I think it was about 9 centimeters. So I was moved into this ward on my own with 2 midwives and a nurse. And eventually Kyle got there, and I remember him just giving me Powerade, and he was just like, I was like, I need this, and rub my back, please, I need a back rub. And then it was like an hour that went by, and I'm like, am I still not in labor? It's just like, is she not coming yet? Don't push, no. So we were still kind of waiting, and then guys, but at this time my water did not break. My water did not break. And I was like, isn't the water supposed to break before you go into labor? And a doctor came, and it was like this long metal thing that they just kind of push in there, and they break it like that. That was what happened to me. And then they were like, it's time to push. So no epidural, no Panado at this stage either, like since 2 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so it was about 9 o'clock, and they were like, you need to push. And I remember just blanking out. I would push, I'd get a contraction, I'd push, and I'd be like, after that I'd just kind of like, go cold out, like. And I remember Carl was like, you can do this, and I was like, I can't do this. And I remember the midwife was like, no, girl, you need to push, there's no turning back now. And I had one lady on this side holding that leg, another lady on this side holding that leg, and the midwife and trying to kind of just like pushing. And I remember Carl was like, I see her head, there's like a full head of hair there, like just push, you're almost done. And so yeah, and I pushed, and I think it took like 20 minutes, and she came out, and everything was healthy, she was fine. And once they weighed her, they kind of cleaned her up a bit, and they continued pushing out the placenta and all that. But once we were kind of in our postnatal ward, and the nurses looked at my daughter's weight, they were like, your baby's so big, you should have probably given birth via C-section. And I was like, oh, now you guys tell me. But anyway, so yeah, that's my birth story. I gave birth with no epidural. My partner was not with me up until only the moment of when I was going to give birth. Okay, it was there 2 hours before. So I was without him throughout that time, alone. No one to rub my back, because that's just how it is at the public hospital here in South Africa. So guys, and then we were in our postnatal ward, and we were there for 1 night, and then I went home after that. But you're with like 6 other women, and even after that your partner, they can't stay with you, so you're alone during that time. And I can't stress the importance of medical aid enough, because they even forgot to give my daughter her BCG shots, and I didn't know this. And because they would every night, like routine, I don't know how many hours it was, but they would kind of come and check her sugar levels, and they would just check, is it up, because obviously your baby needs to latch on you and eat. And so, but they were like injecting her foot and this and checking us up and I was half out of it, guys. Like, I'd just given birth, and so I thought that they'd given her the shot. They did not. So we had to go back to the hospital and be like, you should have given her the shot so yeah, guys, I would just say I appreciate the midwives and the nurses and everyone who helped me. But I would just say, I have so much respect for them, but I would just say, for a bit of comfortability, invest in medical aid. You're gonna need it. But yeah, everything turned out well. I healed fine. I think I had like 2 stitches. I healed perfectly fine. My daughter is a year old. So yeah, guys, that's my birth story. Of what my experience was. I will say though, I had a shower all to myself, like a massive shower, where I was able to take a warm shower just for my back. So that was a positive. The nurses and midwives, everyone there was very friendly. So it wasn't all too bad. It was just there was no epidural, and they forgot to give my daughter her first shot, which we had to obviously go back with. But everything is fine. We are good, and she's a year old, and she's healthy by the grace of God. So all turned out well. I just thought that I would share my experience with anybody who is about to give birth in a public hospital in South Africa, or if you're just curious to know what the procedures are. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like because it really supports my channel. Comment down below if you have given birth in a public hospital, or just if you've had an experience at a public hospital and how it was. And yeah, click that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!